If working from home, being able to work from the cafe, the park, the beach, your favorite restaurant, your favorite Starbucks, if that sounds like something you're interested in, if you're currently working as a teacher or a medical admin professional, and basically you work in person, work 40 or more hours a week, but do not feel like you are paid the best, or you love your job, or you are fairly compensated, right? Or you really would just like the freedom to be able to work from home, this video is for you. In this video, I am going to share all about the opportunity to earn $3,000 to $5,000 a month working from home. Okay, I'm going to tell you the exact steps of how to do this in as little as 90 days. Before we get too far into it, welcome to the channel. We've recently rebranded to the Book VA. My name is Angel Santos. I'm a business coach, VA mentor, and really excited to share this information with you because more people need to know. You all, I go into hospitals for different reasons with family members, and I will sometimes just walk up to someone at the counter and be like, "Do you like your job?" and when they answer, I go on to tell them about working as a virtual assistant, because not enough people, women specifically, know about this great opportunity. And as someone who has worked as a teacher, which, to be honest, I did enjoy it. Okay. It was really fun because I do the little. So just like, let's say 9 and under, more so 7 and under normally. And I enjoy decorating the bulletin board, right? You get to come up with your theme. I remember I did a minion board. It was super cute. And all of the little kids, I had like individual minions and their name was on it. Okay. And so I have worked as a teacher, right? I know the benefits of it. And I also know that when you're looking at your student loans, and how much you make, it can maybe feel like, wow, this is going to take forever. And then I also know sometimes how, as rewarding as the relationships with the kids can be, just the compensation and what's required, like working on salary and making less than, the cashiers at Buc-ee's, right? It really isn't fair, right? And if you're anything like some of my clients who have went through my VA Academy, you may have just always wanted to be a digital nomad. So wherever you land, this is the video for you. So what is a virtual assistant? And then how do you get to the 3 to 5K a month, right, to replace your salary at your job? A virtual assistant is someone who gets hired, right, to work online. It really is what it sounds like, right? You can be an admin assistant, but instead of going into an office, now you're coming into your home office, right, and working from your home. And before I kind of tell you a little bit more about it, if you're wondering like, okay, but why is this so much better? Because the pay is triple probably what you're making. And the perks, like the freedom, the flexibility, you really can't beat that, right? Like as a teacher, I remember so at one private school I was hired at, I was over the preschool. I had preschool age, and I had to be there at 6:45, I think they said, because it was important for you in your class to be there before any parents dropped the kids off, and some parents had to come early, right? And they like notified the school. So it was my job to be there at that time. And then you have to stay late to 6, sometimes 7, because if the parents need to come late, that's your responsibility too. And I remember thinking, that's a lot, right? Especially when you're only getting paid for 40 hours a week, right? Not to mention having to be your own like janitor. Okay, I won't go down all the things because I'm not downing teachers. It's a great feel. With that being said, it's really nice to be able to get paid 25 to 45 an hour working from your home with skills that you're 100% capable of learning, right? Instead of having to paint, if some of you had to do that at your schools, paint your classroom and sweep and everything else, now you just need to be concerned about, painting your home, right? And to be fair, well, I'll get into hacks later, but there are hacks that you can use to get paid while you clean your house. That's another video, right? So if you're interested in that, if you're already a virtual assistant and watching this, let me know in the comments and I'll record that, how to get paid to clean your own house. Being a virtual assistant can be a gamut of areas. If you're interested in video editing, if you're interested in podcasting, if you've always been into creative things like writing, blogging, creating graphics on Canva, event planning, it really doesn't matter like what your interest is, what your existing skills are. There's normally a remote or virtual online job that you can find in that. And if you're anything like I was in my college years when I was looking for ways to make money, unlike, taking quizzes online for $3 or companies sending you freeze-dried snacks for you to try, and then when you submit your feedback, they send you a check for $20. Like, unlike that, virtual assistant work is just as consistent and stable as an in-person job, right? It's just as consistent, but the perks are higher, right? Like, again, for an entry level with experience, you can absolutely get hired at 25 to 45 an hour if you are a US based virtual assistant, right? And so first, I just want you to know that so many skills are transferable. And the other thing I want you to know is that the skills that you don't have that you will need to be a virtual assistant, you can learn in as little as 12 weeks. I literally built a program where I took everything I learned in the last almost 20 years, y'all, and I literally put it in a program that you can learn the same skills if you're willing to put in the work and time in as little as 12 weeks. Because I know, if you're anything like me, most people don't want to have to wait another 4 years to get hired, right? Okay, so I do want you to be aware, just quick disclaimer, I feel like I'm telling you some of the benefits and you may already be aware of them or may not, but I'm not telling you any of the what could be perceived as downside. So I do want to let you know, while the rates are higher, much, much higher, the taxes are normally not taken out if you are working part-time for a company, right? So if they pay you $45 an hour, it's just $45 an hour. If they pay you $30 an hour, it's $30 an hour coming straight to you. And depending on how much you make, when you go do your taxes, that is when they will look to, collect that money if you make over a certain amount. So that's, I think it's probably the biggest, what could be perceived as a downside. I don't take it as a downside because to me, you still make more than a lot of jobs that you could work in person, and the benefits still outweigh that. But I just do want you to be aware of that. You will need your own computer. You'll need, internet signal. A webcam can be helpful, but it's not necessarily required. I will say, though, at least for the interview process, it's very helpful. And for full-time jobs, because you can also get hired as a full-time virtual assistant or just remote job, those can come with benefits and taxes, so you don't even have to be concerned about that. So how do you go from your job you work in now that you may like some things about, but you may be ready for a change, right? Or you may have been already probably looking into becoming a virtual assistant, getting into maybe the coaching or consultant world, right? This is created for you. So first, you just decide that you believe it's possible. I'm so big on that because if you don't believe it's possible, you're going to fight against yourself and create unnecessary self-sabotage, right? So one, just believe it's possible. Just be open to the steps, right? That will take you so far. So that's number one. Believe it's possible. And one way you can do this, I have another video where I talk about how to make 6 figures from home, and I show screenshots of money that I've made and other people have made, so you can watch that video. But you can also just like do research too if you like, just to see that people are making a lot of money. That's actually how I got into virtual assistants work. I was looking to hire one, and I saw how much money they were making on a platform called Upwork, and I was like, oh, well, let me get some of this, right? This seems like a viable source of income. Okay, so believe that it's possible for you. Okay, that's number one. And then number two, I would say it would be great to have an idea of what type of virtual assistant you want to be, right? Unlike when sometimes someone goes to college and they have no idea what they want to do, or, how much they're going to make, and so they go to like this outrageously expensive college, and then they decide to be like a social worker. I'm not putting down being a social worker. I'm just saying, in hindsight, to me, like, it's helpful if where you go to school is maybe comparable with what your job is going to be, so we're not in debt so long from student loans. If your parents is paying for your college, you don't have to be concerned. But if you're paying for your college, then you probably understand what I'm saying. So I would say decide what direction you want to be. Do you just want to be a general VA? That's a great start, right? It's just called General Virtual Assistant. Highly recommend that if you're open to it. And that means you do a little bit of everything. You may do a little bit of admin, a little bit of social media, right? Whatever they ask for, you're open to it. You'll send emails. You may answer calls, right? Is that something that you're okay with? Do you want to be more of an executive assistant that's going to be more strictly on the admin side? Have you always really been into marketing, or do you really like Facebook or social media? And I'm saying choose which direction you want to go first, because then you can look on Upwork or other sites and look up jobs that are actively hiring from the very beginning to see what's out there. I just want you to expose yourself really early to like, oh, this is real. This is a social media assistant. The pay is $35 an hour. They're looking for someone 25 hours a week. This is what's required. That's going to let you know what all you need to have, right? I'm not here to feed you anything fake. I'm just here to do my best to prepare you to get you to what you desire, which is being a book VA, right? That's what the channel is called. Okay, so believe, choose your specialty, or if you're just going to stay a virtual assistant, and then look to see who's hiring and how much they're hiring for, so you can prepare yourself, right? If you notice that if you want to be maybe a social media VA, and you notice that each of them are asking for maybe Instagram profiles you worked on, then as you do the next steps I'm telling you, you're going to want to make sure you create some IG profiles that you've worked on, right? So by the time you start applying, you will already be ready. Like, so often people don't understand when it comes to getting hired, specifically as a VA, what's beautiful is it's not about what college you went to. It's not about what you spent the last 10 years of your life doing. It's about your work. Can you do it or can you not? And there, to me, is not any other industry, and I've been in a lot of them, there's not any other industry that's so forgiving and that judges you just based on your work. It's the virtual assistant industry, and I don't want to make this video too long. The virtual assistant industry is kind of like The Voice. You know how on The Voice, if you've ever seen a show, they can't see you. They don't know what you're wearing. They can't judge your appearance. They can't judge your height, your gender, nothing. It's just a voice initially. That's how the virtual assistant industry is. It's based on your skills and they judge it by your work, right? So I want you to know from the very beginning, what are the employers that are looking for you or the job you want to have looking for, right? Because it's not about you, it's about what they're looking for. And you showing you can do that. And then that leads to the next step. Getting the skills. It's just that simple. If you don't have the skills, learn them, right? If you want to learn them for free, YouTube University is open every day of the week. If you want to learn it in a structured way, I created the most comprehensive academy that exists. It teaches you all the skills. I'll be honest. It does teach you all the skills so you can go in any direction. And the reason I created it like that is because whether it's myself or the VAs that I have trained and who have gotten hired, when you have a varied skill set, you get paid more and you get hired faster. And it's okay to have a specialty, but I really believe in you learning various skills, admin, marketing, technology, because let's just say someone is looking for an executive assistant and it's down to 3 of you and all of you have been doing it maybe the same length of time, right? But you're the only one who actually has done websites too. Who are they going to hire? You. Who are they going to pay more? You, right? So I know sometimes people will be like, oh, I don't want to learn. I'm not interested. Or, oh, this seems like a lot. It absolutely is. But more than ever in the times where, if we're being honest, AI can write that memo for them. Having a varied skill set and making yourself an asset is really recommended, right? So you use the next 12 weeks to grow your skills and build a portfolio. A portfolio is a body of work, right? As you're learning, build your skills, build your portfolio, right? If you're learning how to do memos or letters or customer emails, because all of this matters, build a portfolio of it. Right? Now, in my academy, after each lesson that you're taught, you actually are given a demo assignment. So by the end of the academy, you have a portfolio that's comparable to like someone who has been in the industry for almost 20 years. And when I say the industry, I just mean the business industry as a whole, right? The thing is, though, if you're going to go the YouTube University route, build the skills, build a portfolio, right? And then after you spend about 12 weeks, and I would recommend 3 to 6 hours a week working on this if you can. The more you put in, the more you put out. The more you get out of it, right? So if you can treat it like school, basically, and at a minimum 2 to 4 hours a week for just 12 weeks, what you will be rewarded with will be something really, really special, and it will now qualify you to start applying for jobs. I recommend Upwork.com. It is a free platform that allows you to have access to very high quality premium companies that are hiring both part-time and full-time. And that is it. That is how you can go from your in-person job where you're underpaid and possibly overworked, right, to working from home and being a digital nomad in as little, and making double to triple what you make now in as little as 12 weeks. If you have any questions, let me know below. By the way, before I let you go, I have a VA starter kit that walks you through these steps a bit hands-on. So if you're like, this was really helpful, I'm trying to take notes. Wait, what was the thing you said? Just comment starter kit and we'll send you the link to help you get started on this process. Thank you so much for watching.